Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Safety Systems. Folks, when it comes to protecting your home, your property, your family, Safety Systems is who you call in East Tennessee. VFL J.J. Surlis and his team have the most modern security systems available anywhere. SafetySystems.com to learn more. All right, in this segment, we promised it last week, so even though we could have moved things around, we kept it in here. We're going to do two segments, Most Beloved Vols. This segment, we get about 18 names on the board, and we're going to discuss which of these would fill a top 4 of most beloved UT sports figures. More recent people, because I think some of the older folks, you out of sight, out of mind. We're also a little later going to look at who should be on the list. So we'll have 18 more names. But let's go over to the Safety Systems big board where Chuck Cavaleris is dapperly dressed out. Maybe he should dab for us. There you go. He's doing the camera. All right.
First one we got to see this week.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. We're going to flip that around, Chuck. Who's the number one most beloved Vol figure today? Oh, come on. Easy.
Peyton.
It's got to be Peyton. I mean, I think there was a time when it might have been Pat Summitt, and I think she's probably number 2 in my book. But there's nobody. Nobody's got names their kid after somebody. I mean, it's Peyton Manning easily, isn't it?
Oh, I think beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's easy.
Giraffes were named after him.
Yes.
Giraffe, that's right. He has a giraffe named after him. Easy, Mike?
Easy, yeah.
Okay. No fight at all, Chuck?
No, it's almost to the point where you hear if someone has a child named Peyton, if it's not named after Peyton Manning, you're really, really surprised.
Right, that's right. It's named after Sean Payton. Let's get a tight shot over there. Oliver, our great director, who I throw every week. Monica, modern names here. Monica Aber, David Cutcliffe. You guys nominated some of these. David Cutcliffe. He didn't play here. He was an assistant coach here, but very good. And he's at Duke now, and people pull for him there. Philip Fulmer, John Gruden. I think what's funny is his name would be on lists. Schools across the country. Yeah. Every opening was.
At least he was actually here.
He was here for a year. Ernie Grunfeld, Shmeekwa Holzclaw, Conridge Holloway, Allen Houston, Bernard King, Chris Lofton, Mark Pancratz would like it, a lot of basketball guys. Johnny Majors, Candace Parker, Heath Schuler, Pat Summitt, Josh Ward from the Sports. Oh, wait, that's John Ward. John Ward was a good nomination for Mike Strange. Ralph and Karen Weekly, Al Wilson, Jason Witten. And again, we'll have some more names later in the show. Pat Summitt, number 2, guys?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's kind of a Bill Clinton face.
I'm waffling just a little bit on number 2 because I just think since football overrides everything else, but I think in the grand scheme of things, I'd put Pat Summitt number 2.
Pat.
Chuck, you agree?
Yes, and you look at the national championships won and just what she meant to women's basketball, and then plus the current situation, yes.
Well, I think, if you're not playing or coaching, you start to drift out of people's memories. Yeah. So I think that her standing isn't as strong as Peyton Manning's right now because Peyton Manning just won a Super Bowl, and she hasn't coached in 3 years, or 4 years. All right, who's number 3 on this list out of those people? And we'll allow people to throw in their own guys that should be on the list in a later segment. Who is the number 3 most beloved Vol fan on that list?
I'm going to throw out a nomination for Johnny Majors.
Okay. I think if you could marry Fulmer and Majors, you could move them over. But I think the Fulmer people hate Majors and the Majors.
Number 3.
All right. What do you think?
That's why I would go John Ward, because I think there's no divisiveness about the Fulmer Majors.
He crosses all boundaries.
I was just mentioning it to Mike earlier that you have people that don't like Coach Fulmer, don't like Coach Majors. I don't know anybody that didn't like John Ward.
I tell you what, I've been flipped.
Chuck, you agree?
Yes, I agree, and that's what I was thinking, because you have the 2 distinct Coach Fulmer, Coach Major camps, and everybody. I think S is one of the most beloved broadcasters in the history of college sports.
All right, there we go. So, now, who's the most beloved? Who's the last one that goes up there?
My guy didn't make it.
Well, we'll have some more in this next list.
Wow.
I would, in a way, I think Al Wilson, because he, accepting on behalf of the 98 championship, Al Wilson, because he's the face of it.
Okay, I would agree.
Since we're not going to go Johnny Majors, I think Al Wilson too, because his name is still brought up in a lot of football conversations. He's still brought up as he ought to be coaching here. I don't know if he's ever coached a day in his life, and a lot of people think he ought to be a coach here.
I'll throw out Condredge Holloway for what he did and the fact that he's been around and a part of the athletic department for so long. Holloway could be out there, but Al Wilson is hard to argue with. Jimmy?
Can I give a write-in vote?
We'll do that in the next segment. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I'll.
And you can you lie from the choices up there?
I'm leaning toward Heath Schuler.
Okay.
I just think people still love him, and he's kept his name out there in politics, and I think he's still beloved.
All right. We got a Heath Schuler and 2 Al Wilsons.
Didn't
Well,
come back for a senior year.
I tell you what, to me, it's a really,
Quickly.
really tough call. I think I would go with Al Wilson as the
Okay.
heart and soul of the national championship team.
Okay. Very good. And see, I think one guy that could also be up there is Chris Lofton.
Yes.
What he went through and how he represented the basketball change of fortunes and everything else. One guy that was not on there because I didn't want to deal with it was Bruce Pearl. Because I didn't want to deal with putting up there one of Tennessee's most beloved figures is Auburn's coach. So when we come back, though, you'll find out who Jimmy wanted on that list. And that's when we do our segment of who should be getting more love. We'll discuss that a little later. Up next, have you seen this Peyton Manning smear thing? It's national news. We'll talk about it for this long. And then we'll talk about the fact that he has the best player-school bond that I've ever seen, really. We'll discuss. Come on back on the Sports Source.